Welcome to ICANN, where innovation meets professional video production. Since 2005, we've been at the forefront of equipping creatives and professionals with the tools they need to bring their vision to life. From LED lights and teleprompters to PTZ cameras, tripods, and monitors, ICANN is the trusted name across television stations, production and corporate studios, educational institutions, houses of worship, and beyond. Introducing our revolutionary Power over Ethernet lights. Imagine illuminating your set without the need for traditional AC power outlets. These cutting-edge lights are not only powered, but also DMX controlled over a single Cat6 Ethernet cable. Discover more about our innovative products and how they can transform your production. Visit us at icanncorp.com.
What's next in wireless? Meet the Shure Microflex Wireless Next 2. It's a snap to set up, and it's perfect for all your spaces, like this, and yeah, even that. And with a variety of available mics, everyone can hear and be heard. So what's next in wireless? The all-new, all-in-one MXW Next 2.
The Radian Video Wall Processor delivers large-scale visualization for mission-critical control rooms and command centers. It's modular and scalable, enabling users to create combinations of up to 64 screens from hundreds of inputs. Radian supports video from all sources, including computers, cameras, IP streams. With Radian, users can monitor and control numerous assets simultaneously across an open canvas. The ability to manage unlimited windows across multiple screens and drag and drop content in real time anywhere on the wall offers users maximum flexibility. The Radian Video Wall Processor from BlackBox. Scalable, flexible, and secure for any control room or command center video wall application. Learn more at blackbox.com/Radian.
The industry has evolved over the years. Analog to digital, isolated to network, server-based to cloud-based, but fundamental pains persist. Rolling out hundreds of rooms quickly and reliably is difficult, time-consuming, and expensive. Complex equipment frustrates staff, managers, and executives alike. The recent shift to hybrid offices has organizations considering replacement of outmoded systems. They're looking for simple, reliable, flexible, secure, and easy-to-budget video conferencing solutions. It's time for a totally new approach. It's time the AV industry met the Internet of Things. Introducing Conference Room as a Service, subscription-based products and services only from Wesco. A subscription that scales and works for your business. Together, with your preferred AV installer, we help you choose the right size system for your meeting spaces, small rooms, medium-sized rooms, and large conference rooms. Once you've chosen the size room you want to deploy, choose Zoom or Microsoft Teams and add options like bring your own device and a monitor if needed. Then choose how many rooms you want to add to your subscription. It's that easy. Once your AV integrator has installed and activated your equipment, your Conference Room as a Service subscription has you covered with advanced replacement, an industry-leading warranty, live 24/7 world-class help desk support, and a portal for remote monitoring and service tickets. With this service, all rooms are online and ready to go once connected to the network. It's never been easier to deploy, monitor, and evolve your workplace technologies, all at an affordable price with easy payments. Conference Room as a Service subscription-based products and services, only from Wesco. Simple, reliable, flexible, secure, easy to budget.
AV Gear is the one-stop solution for all your professional audiovisual equipment needs and a modern alternative for selling, trading, or liquidating your pre-owned audiovisual and entertainment technology. Not only are we a leading national brand in premium pre-owned equipment sales, we specialize in helping businesses across the globe sell, trade in, or liquidate their used audiovisual and production gear with no hassle. When you have any pro audiovisual gear that's taken up space or not being used, or you're looking to upgrade your systems and update your technology, you don't want to deal with the hassle and the costly and time-consuming process to get things done. Whatever that scenario might look like, AV Gear can help. Our team has over 50 years of real-world pro audiovisual and production experience, and we understand your needs and challenges when buying or selling your equipment. That's why it's so important to work with a company that truly cares about its clients and partners. And we work very hard to serve as if we were an extension of your own company, with your best interests as our top priority. Our business revolves around the buying and selling of professional audio, broadcast, lighting, cameras, projection, lenses, accessories, and so much more. We have pioneered revolutionary, flexible service programs to help you seamlessly reach your goals so that you and your team can continue to focus on what you do best while we do the rest. Regardless of the type or size of business that you are, regardless of where you find yourself with anything Pro AV, we can accommodate you beyond expectations. Whether you're looking to buy or sell your gear, trade it in, upgrade, consign, or liquidate, AV Gear is your one-stop Pro AV equipment solution, helping you save time, money, and space while bringing value to you and your gear in every way.
Ben, I'm so glad we got a moment away from AVIXA TV so we can take a look at the show floor. There's just so much action happening and everybody's around, huddling up, chatting. There's just so much cool technology. All right, there's a lot of booths I want to check out and see. Ben, which ones do you want to see after this? Ben, where are you? Oh my, Ben, dear, what are you wearing?
What? What are you talking about? It's Vegas.
We're at InfoComm doing a show.
Yeah, so why don't we get the show started?
Like this?
Yeah, like this. It'll be fine.
We'll just go with the punch.
People don't understand, yeah.
No, they don't. Good morning and welcome back to AVIXA TV live at InfoComm. The second day of the show floor is open and it's absolutely buzzing with excitement. We've got another fantastic lineup for you today, filled with insights from the show and exclusive interviews with the industry's pioneers who are helping to shape the future of AV technology. I'm your host, Samantha Powell.
And I'm Elvis Prez. I'm Ben Barnard. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. Sam, it's the second day of the show. Just as much energy as the first.
Absolutely.
How are you feeling?
Oh my goodness. Well, a little tired because, you know, they have all those industry events. But no, you power through at InfoComm and in Vegas. But yeah, as you said, just the floor is just, there's just such a buzz and you just get so much energy from networking and meeting with new friends and old friends, and it's been really great. What are your thoughts, Elvis?
Great. Yeah, I mean, another day, another outfit. I'm glad that you know, it was the American stereotype that I was fulfilling that day rather than the English one. But yeah, no, really good. It's as I say, like the show yesterday was full of energy. We've got the Exchange Live booth next door. So much stuff going on there. Education all over the place. It's been great. But yeah, how about we kick off today's show? What have we got for us today?
Let's do that. So to start our show today, we are honored to start with our first interview dedicated to the enduring legacy of Brad Sousa, a visionary in the AV industry whose impact and innovations have truly left an indelible mark. We're joined with some of our industry leaders who knew him best, Cristiano Mazza, Bren Walker, and Joseph Valerio. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. How are your feet, first off?
Great.
That's always a question here at InfoComm.
Sandals.
Good.
Easy.
There you go. Good. Are you enjoying the show? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a great show.
This show is fantastic as always, and it's just there's never enough time. That's the only thing. Never enough time to see the tech, to see the people. So always at the end of it, I'm always ready for next year.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. So each of you had the wonderful opportunity to know Brad Sousa. So if you could share with our audience, just each tell us a little bit about your relationship with Brad and how you got to work with him so closely.
Sure. So this is my second year as a member of the board of directors for AVIXA, and Brad was my board buddy for my first year. And he guided me in ways that I didn't expect. And he made the experience of being on the board something that, you know, when you're doing something you never know how it's going to go. And it was with people that I didn't know. And within like 10 minutes, I felt like I knew Brad forever. He just had great wisdom, advice. He was so supportive and just he was such a welcoming person. And as I talk with other people about Brad, the one word that always comes back is that he was welcoming. He was welcoming. Mm-hmm. He had an open heart. He had an open mind. He had open arms to ideas and to people. And I just can't say enough about the impact that he made on me, which is why I'm so supportive of the Impact Fund.
Thank you. That was so beautiful. Thank you, Brad. Cristiano?
So I'm serving as AVIXA Foundation Chair, and last year Brad was director of the foundation. and we were working together in the genesis of the apprenticeship program. And yes, he was always very generous, and he wanted always to teach something to us in like a smooth conversation. In 1 minute, he could make you feel like you just got a best friend, a mentor. And yeah, last year I remember I was talking with him about a business canvas that we do all the time for tasks and everything else. And I always started in one way, doing from left to right. And it's kind of common, everybody do like this. And he asked me, Chris, do you mind if we change a little bit? So he did the opposite. He started on the back part, on the right side, and it feels so perfect. It was so much easy to feel the canvas. So it was great, and we learned a lot with him. In Brazil, we used to say, os melhores vão primeiro. It means the best go first. So it fits perfect in his case.
Oh,
That's fantastic. Well, what amazing things to be said. It's so cool, and so amazing that his legacy is living on, and we're continuing to talk about him and all the amazing things that he did. And through the Impact Fund, that's not going to stop. That's going to carry on. Joseph, I know that from the AVIXA side, you're very involved with the foundations. Why is the Brad Sousa Impact Fund so important to our industry?
I think, Ben, it starts with Brad as the human being who always really guided himself and the people around him to understand that human impact is really where people and technology meet. And that is, to me, what a lasting legacy can be. And yesterday was actually his birthday.
Wow.
So in many ways, he brought us together here at InfoComm. He continues to have a lasting legacy in that regard. So the fund to us as a business and as an industry is a way to continue the profound legacy that he put forward in the way that he lived his life and the way he impacted communities by giving funding to people who are seeking to better themselves and the communities around them through educational and vocational outcomes, to community programs or organizations that are helping change the world around them through the work that they're doing. And we'd also love to help fund other programs that associations and other partners out in the world can be doing to elevate their work. And so in that vein and that aim is why we hope to impact the communities around us using the sort of the connection between AV technology and digital transformation that is used to benefit society in a really positive way. And I'm very pleased to say that through the help of AVI Systems and their wonderful partners, we have already raised and pledged from the industry over $120,000 towards this goal. And we will continue to do so for years to come in Brad's honor and use that money in a very, very positive way to impact the communities in the world that AVIXA finds itself and our members in our industry find themselves.
That's incredible.
Excellent.
And Bren, I know you've talked about Brad, the man himself, and what he means to you, but what does the Impact Fund mean to you?
I think it strikes directly at the heart of what we're facing as a challenge. And we're not the only ones facing it. It's workforce development. And workforce development ultimately comes down to human impact and finding people who want to do something different. They want to make a change in their lives. They want to improve their situation. AV as an industry can help people do that. I tell people all the time that working in AV, you can have a beautiful middle-class income, and you relieve the basic pressures that people often feel. And this fund, without having to necessarily expend a lot, but just focusing it, and that was one of the things about Brad. He would say it was more important to have an impact than to influence. And impact means you're directly making something happen. It might even be the smallest action. A $500 gift to a girl in India, she could become a designer 2 years later. We need that girl in India to be a designer with us, right? We need that young man in Indiana who's working at a fast food restaurant to make the transition to doing installation. We need them as a part of our business. And I think Brad, the way that Brad thought about things, at least as I understood him, is that the door was open for everybody. And I think the fund will do that in terms of increasing how many people come through the door.
Fantastic. And Christiana, if you'd like to talk about how that how it's impacted you?
Inside the AVIXA Foundation, we have a scholarship program that works for students, and we develop an apprenticeship program that works for companies and employees. So it was missing a third part of that tripod that goes for initiatives. So there are so many good initiatives all around the world that we can help with this fund to bring more people to our industry. AVIXA Foundation goals are to talent acquisition and workforce development. So it just go perfect in our strategy to just fix some of the issue we have with workforce development all around the world.
Wonderful. And then, so Joseph, for people who, maybe are just learning about this fund, how can they help contribute to it?
One can actually contribute dollars and cents if they wish, which we hope they do. No matter if you're an individual or a company, we're welcoming all people in our community to donate directly on our website. We have a beautiful space there to learn more about Brad and the fund itself and the impact initiatives we're hoping to fund. And also that's a great place for people to share places and communities and people who might be making the difference in the world who could use that funding. So it's in some ways twofold. We're hoping to receive funding, of course, to keep this program going over years to come, but also tell us who's out there in the world doing this work who could use some support. And again, Brad thought that everyone had a superpower that could be unlocked, and we believe this is the way that we can really make a big impact in the globe through our community.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Well, thank you. I mean, talking about impact, it's the Impact Fund. It's an incredibly impactful thing that you guys have done, coming here and talking to us. It's a little bit too early for all this. I'm feeling a bit emotional. Thank you so much for coming on and spreading the word. I know we spoke with Martin Saul last ISC about the Impact Fund, and we've done it today. We'll keep talking about it all throughout the years, and always on AVIXA TV as well. But thank you for being the voices of Brad today. It's an absolute pleasure, and we look forward to seeing you around the show and all over social media, hopefully as well, continuing to promote this amazing cause. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Now, I believe it's time to take our first trip of the day over to the green screen, where Ben Thomas will be talking to Mark Coxon about all things AI. Let's have a look.
Let's do it.
Well, thanks for sending it over here, Ben. This is our first segment of the day over here at the virtual set. You're right, we are talking about AI, but not probably in the way that you're thinking we might talk about AI. Look, if you're on the show floor, you're hearing AI in technology and things like facial tracking, all sorts of different places, but we're talking about the business use case for AI in our business. Joined today by none other than my friend Mark Coxon. Mark, great to have you on.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Mark, I know you had a chance to kind of give a presentation yesterday about some of these business use cases of AI. What are some of the key conversation points that you were talking about yesterday, and what are some of the things that you've seen already from the show?
I think when we think about AI, the first thing we think about is generative, but AI has so many more aspects to it. And when we're thinking about our businesses and what we're doing, some of the things that we're doing is we're leveraging AI to actually improve the way that we do meetings internally. We happen to be an early adopter of Copilot, because of our Microsoft relationship. And so we can do things like make sure that we're getting great meeting synopsises, we can get action items, we can see points of disagreement in a meeting, and then you can take those notes and say, hey, based on this, what should the agenda for my next meeting be? So we're actually moving this ball forward, and we're not re-summarizing. I think one of the most frustrating things in meetings is we talk about the things that we talked about last time, but we actually haven't moved the ball forward in any way. In AI, we're using that in a way that actually allows us to start to move things forward and make our workflows much, much better.
Well, Mark, what's been interesting is a lot of manufacturers are having conversations about AI, but I'd love to hear how some of the non-manufacturing community, whether it's the service providers or the installers, integrators, dealer, distributor partners, are having conversations about AI. How are you guys leveraging a lot of the technologies over at AVI-SPL?
You hear about the generative aspects like we talked about earlier, and I think we're going to talk about that in a minute, but the generative aspects are interesting for things like chat, etc. However, they're also great for synthesizing data. So, maybe we have a process that we want to change. So we interview all our departments. We did this ourselves. We interviewed all our departments. Then we take these 40 surveys we get back on where people have points of frustration. We run those through chat with a prompt. And then we actually end up with maybe 8 categories of things that we could change as a business in order to now communicate better, to have better handoffs, to create better outcomes with our customers, to get people more involved in the knowledge share and the transfer of these complex projects that we're working on. And so being able to use it to synthesize data is a real superpower, and it's something everybody has access to right now that they could start to do in order to leverage AI in their business in a little different way.
Well, look, you talk about that great data. It also allows you to be a little bit more predictive and prescriptive. One of the ways that you mentioned yesterday in your presentation was rebuilding the Death Star. How does stuff like that, obviously that's a bit of a kind of a joke thing that you did, but how can we also take some of that data to be prescriptive and proactive to learn from our mistakes, like maybe having a tube that shouldn't go down to the core of an entire Death Star?
Yeah, I think that's really important, right? And I think sometimes when we're going through a meeting, we have these tangents that pop up, and there are things that are really important that happen in the meeting that maybe because we're focused on the outcome that we set the meeting for, that we miss the nuance of what was actually said. And so having AI actually be listening and looking at those things, and at the end summarizing those points, you get these points of agreement and disagreement at the end, and you say, oh wait, this was a really important part of the meeting that kind of passed me by. And it helps people catch up if they can't attend meetings, et cetera, right? So being able to go back and actually see that dashboard and say, hey, this is the clip, this is the summary of what happened, and then they actually tag those. So if you want to see the nuanced conversation, you can click a number and it'll take you to that part of the conversation to help you get in the know on what happened. So.
Well, look, you talk about some of that nuance and maybe some of the best practices and ideas. A lot of people, even a lot of folks here, have a lot of questions about, okay, where do I start? How do I try and roll things out, like leveraging large language models or things like Copilot? What are some of those best practices that you recommend for folks?
I just say be curious. Our team, our directive was to be curious. Use the tools that are available to us. Chat's a free tool. You can sign up for your own version of Chat if you want and pay, and have your attendant actually learn who you are, which is even more valuable. Being curious with our partners, Zoom and Microsoft and these partners are starting to add AI tools in for meeting analysis and all of those things. And then being a pioneer of new products like Places and Spaces and all of those pieces as well. So I think the best practice is really just get your hands dirty. Right now, nobody's got it all figured out. And so really figuring out what the tools do and how they work for you, I think is the best practice. And you can only do that by getting elbow deep in the things that are available to us.
Well, Mark, one of the ways that I know that you guys leverage it is kind of the generative side of things, not only from a predictive and proactive text standpoint, but things like images. How are you leveraging some of those extra creative elements inside the AI tools?
Yeah, I think we hear a lot about generative AI with things like Rafik Anadol and these beautiful installations for content, et cetera, and I think that's a great way to do it. However, like in our business, what we're doing is a lot of times we're designing spaces that are supposed to create a visceral impact on people. And sometimes we're designing things that have never been designed before. And so trying then to articulate what technology is going to do in a space to a customer, or to let our customer be able to then go sell that to their stakeholders, what we're able to do is we're able to do some real creative script writing, prompt writing, in order to create this imagery to really give people an idea of what we're trying to build and execute on, in order for them to be able to create this really emotional connection with their customers through their space and technology. And so it's been an invaluable tool in trying to get, parts and pieces and spec sheets go so far, but to actually be able to create something quickly without having to spend, weeks rendering something out with a CAD team, to be able to create something quickly that bridges the gap between words on paper and a picture in somebody's head has been really, really valuable.
Mark, what's interesting, and I loved even some of the points you made yesterday in your conversation. We talked a little bit, even off camera today, about how AI is making it easier for folks to kind of have conversations in the industry across vertical, even making it easier for folks like first-timers in the industry to learn just a little bit more about some of the standards and best practices. What are some of the ways that folks who may be newer to the world of AV can leverage some of these tools to just learn a little bit more about some of our verticals in our industry specifically?
I think the power of it is it synthesizes a lot of data, right? So like if you go and do a Google search, you're going to get a lot of sponsored links, you're going to do a lot of different things. But if you can come up with a very specific question, hey, ChatGPT, what is the difference between 12G SDI and HDMI 2.0? Like, it'll answer that question for you, and it'll query a lot of those sources and give you those things. And then if you find points that you really want to dig in and be a student on, then you can go back and you can then leverage those insights that you get out of that tool to go in and be a bigger student. We've even used it to analyze, is this market worth exploring, right? Like, what are the main things that decision makers in this market are Googling or looking for out in the space? And if that data exists in the language model, you'll find that. So I think you can use it in a lot of ways as a learning tool. When I first started in AV, there wasn't even Google, right? It was 2002. Google wasn't a thing. I had to go to this website called whatis.com and to figure out what these things were. And we have such powerful tools now to do that. When you combine those with education like AVIXA has, et cetera, like there's a great ramp for new people in AV to get up to speed really quickly.
Well, Mark, we appreciate you coming on. I know we've probably got some folks watching right now who have some questions. How can people find you and get in touch with you?
I am at AVISPL, so you can always find me, Mark Coxon, mark.coxon at avispl.com. That's an email. You can have it. That's fine. It's easy to figure out. I'm on Twitter as AVPhenom, or X, I guess it is now. Or you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm always posting little videos on LinkedIn about AV as food or some kind of stuff at any given point.
Or fried chicken.
Or fried chicken. There might be a bespoke hush hush fried chicken crawl later tonight. I don't know. Somebody might have got an invite. We'll see.
Well, I don't know, Mark. That might be the tease of the century right there. But I'll tell you what, we appreciate you coming on and being willing to have conversations about the world of AI. There's just a lot of I don't know that unknown's the right answer, but just a lot of ambiguity, I think, in the world of AI. And I appreciate you leading the conversation on how businesses can leverage a lot of the technology. So thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Ben.
Well, awesome. It was great to have Mark on. We also have our friends on from BlackBox next. Check it out.
I'm joined now by David Muzinik. He's a senior product manager with BlackBox, and we're going to talk a little bit about recent trends in command and control rooms. But let's start first. Talk to me a little bit about some of the complexities that command and control rooms present from an AV perspective. It's got to be a challenging environment to work in, right?
Absolutely. Command and control rooms are mission critical applications, very busy and kind of stressful environments, and you want to take as much of that stress out of the equation as possible. You've got operators and operator stations that need to be serviced. You need to get content to those specific operator users to be able to present it at their desk on their displays and maybe some small video walls. And you also have to be able to present it on a large video walls for the entire command and control environment to kind of see. And so that takes a lot of performance issues to kind of be aware of. You need to be able to access both content that's on site as well as that is remote. So you've got to be able to pull in IP streams, H.264, H.265 streaming content, content from web cameras and surveillance cameras. You've got to be able to pull in local content as well. Having the flexibility to manipulate all sorts of content and to be able to pull it in and then take it and use it is absolutely critical.
And each command and control room serves a different purpose, right? There's no one-size-fits-all approach to the different settings where you see command and control rooms.
That's absolutely correct. Everybody has a unique situation and a unique environment. You need to be flexible and to allow for all of the different types of content that you're gonna have. And you also need to make sure that you support the full standard. So, for example, you need to support the HDCP standards that come with the audio video technology. If you have 4K 60 content coming from your content source to your screen, but you don't support HDCP 2.2, for example, you're not going to get a picture on your display, and you're going to leave an empty void where information should be for the command and control room environment to utilize.
And some of those solutions are going to be on display at InfoComm with BlackBox. Talk to me a little bit about what will be some of the products and things that people can look forward to seeing on the show floor in Vegas.
BlackBox is going to be displaying our full line of command and control room solutions. That starts with our Emerald KVM technology, award-winning technology with our desk view solution that is specifically for the operator station environment. It takes in remote content over VPNs and IP streaming and is able to pull in that content and to present it into the operator station for those operators to utilize. And we're going to also have at our booth at InfoComm our Radiant video wall solutions, which drive the largest video walls in the room.
David, at the end of the day, right, the goal of this is to tailor those needs and the challenges that your clients are facing, but to equip them with solutions that are going to really fulfill their unique needs, right?
Absolutely. Every customer is unique. Every customer in every application is going to be a little bit different, and so you need to be able to work with your customers to be able to get that solution tailored to their exact needs, their exact environments, and the way they work and the way they want to operate. So BlackBox is very good at that. We work with our customers to make sure that we can take in all of the needs of their solutions and tailor them. And that's where the Radian video wall solutions really shine, is because they're a custom, purpose-built video wall controller solution that starts from the ground up. So we'll be displaying that technology at our InfoComm booth in June.
Well, David, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time to talk to us about all of those solutions. Looking forward to seeing you and the rest of the BlackBox team in Las Vegas here real soon.
A great interview there from our colleague Mark with David at BlackBox. Really good stuff. Now, joining us at the desk to talk to us about protocols, convergence, and trends, we have a returning guest, Sam Racine from Matrox Video. Sam, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing?
Good to be here again. Good, thank you.
Excellent. So we've got one day down. Yesterday was the first day. Looking forward to the second day. How was yesterday in terms of footfall, conversations, all that kind of stuff?
Very busy. I lost my voice already.
Okay.
We're kind of here. I'm with you.
So, and how's everything been at Matrox Video since we last spoke at ISE back in January, February of this year?
Yeah, very good. We have taken advantage of the time between then and now to introduce new products and new capabilities and new features in all of our lines, including our KVM products, our video wall products, our encoders and decoders, and also our developer tools, software and hardware for OEMs. So completely refurbished new lines, and also supporting the new standards.
Excellent. So you've been really working your marketing team and your product launch team hard since we last spoke.
Oh yes, they're very, very busy.
Did you at least bring them here for like a little break so they can, like sort of enjoy the fun side of AV?
Yes, I believe they've lost their voice as well.
They lost their voice too. Hey, they had a little break between ISE and InfoComm, so they should be well rested, right?
Well, clearly not. They'll be launching products every 2 seconds. Definitely not.
Not so much. Yeah. But yeah, you were talking about some of the new exciting projects that you have. Can you dig a little bit deeper and tell us about some of those new things that you've been working on?
Yeah, the biggest core thing that we've been working on is the implementation of some of the new standards like SMPTE 2110, IPMX, AES67, and also some of the other protocols like NDI and others into our products, so that we could create interoperable systems to connect all of these beautiful products in the market together.
Well, I can definitely say that all the branding that you've been doing for things like SMPTE 2110 is definitely working. I've been seeing people walking around the show with their little carry bags with the SMPTE 2110 emblazoned on the side. So you're doing a great job, and hopefully, the message is getting out there. Hopefully, the people are really understanding the kind of what the nuts and bolts of it as well, and like how it works.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of progress, people understanding what the standards can do. So the 2110 in particular has been a migration for SDI to IP. Mm-hmm. It kept all of the good things that SDI could do, the ability to transmit broadcast resolutions, the ability to have synchronization on a system, YUV 422 content, and IPMX further enhanced 2110 to do all of the same thing for HDMI type content. So all of the things that you would get out of a PC or a GPU, more resolutions, more color spaces, more networking conditions. So people are starting to understand, what 2110 is about and what NMOS is about and what IPMX is adding to that.
Absolutely. I mean, also the great thing about this show is we can keep it light, we can keep it, really high level, but we can also get really deep into the technical side, and that's why we get people like yourself on. So for all those AV geeks out there who really want to kind of dig into the details, I know that we've spoken before about migrating asset classes, and you've mentioned that briefly, but migrating asset classes to AV over IP is done in a variety of ways. So can you just give us detailed as you like, the ways that IPMX can affect this.
Yeah, we'll take 3 examples. One example is the class of asset of PCs running in businesses or wireless devices like phones and tablets. These are things where collaboration tools like Zoom and Teams run on. So the new standards and protocols assist with aspects of adding camera flows to these types of environments where the camera is easy to discover on a network. It's easy to encode and decode content on those PC and wireless devices, and it has integrations with all of your favorite applications, so mini drivers and virtual capture capabilities to integrate with applications like Zoom and Teams or OBS or vMix or whatever people like to use. Another category of product is processing products, so whether that be media servers or video wall controllers or vision mixers or live production switchers. These types of products have to have a balance between preserving quality and density and using their processing power to do whatever you're doing with video or graphics content or other. And there's a balance to be had media-wise, network type-wise, to get content in and out of that type of processing equipment, and standards are helping with that as well. Mm-hmm. And a third category of product is audio and video routing. So basically, when you have a facility and you want to send sound to those speakers and video to those screens, the standards are obviously helping with managing that class of asset as well.
Wonderful. And I still consider myself still a bit of that AV newbie, so I'm more like, I need that book like AV Light, that version. So for me, actually going by the booth and seeing that technology firsthand and up close. So what can people expect when they come by your booth? And I believe it's W1132, correct?
Yeah, there's W1132 is the Matrox booth where you'll see KVM products, video wall products, and video encoders and decoders all working together in concert. And there's also another booth in the central hall, the Ames booth, C6123, where there's interoperability demos going on from many different types of products and many different brands. We have a little laptop with USB to network adapter, and it's putting out AES67 audio on a network, and all of the IPMX products on the network are picking that up, and there's an LED wall demo in there. There's software encoders and decoders, so there's lots to see there as well. So Matrox has products showing interoperability between types of products like KVM video wall and encoders and decoders, but the Ames booth has different categories of products from different brands working together.
Okay, great. So I'm definitely going to stop there and get some some schooling on more of your products and be able to touch and see, and then you can give me more of that rundown in person.
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I know we can't talk. We generally can't talk about kind of technology generally without mentioning AI, and I think specifically in our industry we can't go without mentioning the AV-IT convergence. It's definitely something that's a journey now. It's not talking about when is it going to happen, it's in full swing. But I'd be interested to find out from your perspective where we are in that AV-IT convergence journey, and also if there are any kind of AV-IT trends that you're seeing at the moment that you would like to pick out.
There's definitely a trend of organizations trying to connect previously isolated asset classes like their production equipment with their PC and IT infrastructure and their AV signal routing. Before, these were separate things that were even run by different people and different departments. And one of the trends is people putting all of this audio and video on common networks where the flows could be used between all of these asset classes.
Excellent.
Okay, great. And I know a lot of companies are building in-house production studios. How does Matrox fit into those projects, and what expertise do you bring to the table in that regard?
Yeah, in many ways, production studios have a lot of different equipment, and Matrox has components that get OEM'd by some of the production equipment companies. We also have converters that help convert certain media to other media so that they could be used in those production environments. We have a lot of software tools to help with certain production projects, and we also have a cloud infrastructure technology that is helpful for solution providers that are building productions in the cloud, where the live production is happening in the cloud.
Fantastic.
Good stuff. Well, as we've said before, time flies when you're having fun. The segment's over, but if people do want to continue this conversation with you and your colleagues, you've got the booth W1132. Can they get you on LinkedIn? You've got websites and all that kind of stuff?
Yes.
Absolutely. Perfect. Well, thank you so much indeed for joining us again. Hopefully we'll see you in ISE next time.
Yes.
And we wish you and the team the very best for the rest of the show as well.
And drink some tea, all of you. We'll send some to your booth.
Save those voices.
Thank you very much. Very grateful to have been with you again.
Absolutely.
Absolute pleasure.
Good seeing
Thanks, Sam.
you, Sam. All right. Take care.
Thank you.
Great. So now I think we've got another segment with Ben over at the virtual production stage. So Ben, take it away.
Well, thanks, Sam. We are back in the courtroom having a conversation with our friend today, Craig Durr, who just told me he had luscious lips, by the way. He just put on some lip balm and said he had luscious lips.
That is an internal secret. I can't believe we're going to start off this already in that controversial level here.
Well, look, this is my segment, so I get to do whatever I want. And, you know, hopefully they don't cut off my mic in the back and things like that. But Craig is joining us today to have some conversations, take a side on a couple of different conversations and questions and topics in the world of AV. But I'll tell you what, Craig, I want to give you a chance to introduce yourself, establish your credibility as a witness here.
I appreciate you giving me the opportunity. My name is Craig Durr. I work for a company called the Collab Collective, where I'm the chief analyst and the founder. I've been working as an industry analyst, more in the UC space for about 5 years. But before that, I actually worked for a vendor. I ran a product team for Poly and Polycom at the point in time. I worked at Dell and prior to that, Microsoft. So ask me about products. I can tell you about products.
Well, look, I'll ask you about kind of UC in general. One of the conversations that I almost feel like I've talked about it ad nauseum this week is AI, right? Well, AI means a million different things. I get it, whatever.
Yeah.
But we're talking about AI and UC, talking about the use in technology. But I want to make a differentiator here and ask you a question. I think there's, when you talk about AI and UC, there's kind of a couple different approaches. You can have your cloud approach versus maybe your edge. And when we talk about edge versus cloud, define it a little bit and then give us your thoughts on it.
You're starting off hard already. You're not pulling the punches, are you?
No, we're going straight for the fist.
Okay, so in the conference room, for example, one of the big topics of debate right now is around, for example, video processing, right? Should I let somebody like Microsoft or Zoom do the video processing in the cloud? Or should I trust the endpoint to do the processing? And this is with the new AI technology that frames the best image and what have you. And there's some really great brands like Logitech, Neat, Poly doing some great things there. So the question is, who should be taking charge of that video stream and really making it optimal for that far end?
Well, Craig, what I will say is that the decision probably depends on just a dollars and cents conversation for a lot of people, right? You've got a lot of small, medium businesses who it doesn't make sense to set up their entire edge computing system. Yeah. But would you say cloud's a great gateway for that?
You know, I think you hit upon the answer, and that's what I feel like too. It is a gateway. It's a gateway drug, if we can say that in some ways. Well, because you have a lot of installed systems that are, I'm going to call them not smart cameras. I'm not going to call them dumb, but they're not smart. They don't have that AI technology built in. But you want people to have the optimal experience. And so it's a great way to start moving people down that journey where the audio and video just works, and you don't have to worry about it in the room. But ultimately, I think the flexibility and the strongest case of that AI manipulation of the video stream is going to take place in the room. Because that device is going to be able to read the light better. It's going to be able to read the room better. It's going to have a people count better. I think it's going to have more access to some of the data. So I think it's a journey. I don't think there's a single winner in cloud versus edge.
Oh, that's, you know what, I'll allow it because I'm nice and friendly, but I'm not going to give you an out on this one. This is a fun one right here. We're talking Android versus Windows from a development
that's another
UC
one.
standpoint.
Oh, I can't believe you went.
Look, I'll tell you this. Okay. Microsoft has a great shoehorn with their Office suite. There's a lot of people that are developing on the Android platform. True. Which one right now is a little bit more attractive from a dev standpoint?
So you want me to go hard left or hard right? Let me give you the pros and cons of each, and then I'm going to land.
Well, no, let's say if you were to start a dev project today at a UC standpoint, where would you start and why?
So It's a religious war. It's hard to do it, but the key things that people I think focus on when they look at these devices, of an Android device or a Windows device in the conference room, is security and manageability. Now, if you, in your heart of hearts, feel that the Microsoft Windows ecosystem already managing a fleet of PCs is the best opportunity for you, that's great. If you think Android brings other features you might say I can secure and manage themselves. In this case, I love those Android bars, but around security and management, I think customers might be more comfortable with the Windows solution to start off with.
It's hard to argue with ecosystem, if
Yeah,
I'm 100%
it
transparent, right? Because
Yeah.
a lot of those systems have teams built. You've already got the Office suite. You know, I use Outlook,
Yeah.
obviously, the whole Microsoft
But I have
suite
to
as
be
well.
a good attorney here. I am playing the role of attorney, right?
I'll
I have
allow
to
it.
I have to give both sides of this argument. Those Android systems, they are very powerful. They are rock solid. You have companies like Cisco WebEx that have an NVIDIA processor in there. They were playing the NVIDIA game before everyone knew that company around AI. So there's a lot of goodness in these endpoints that they run on top of an Android operating system. So you can't count them out. You can't discount that opportunity.
Well, Craig, I want to throw another fastball right to you right here. You know, one of the biggest conversations from last year at InfoComm is the return to office, remote work, things like that. That conversation has shifted dramatically this year, right? You see a lot less product suites designed for a lot of those conversations and things like that. But I want to ask, is return to office still really a meaningful and viable conversation for us in the AV industry?
It's a good thing. And as a good attorney, I should give you the generic answer. No, I won't. I'll do my best. I think people should do this. I think they should change the paradigm. It's no longer return to office. We should be saying it's return to in-person. When and where do I want to sit with you, Ben, and talk and work and collaborate? And I think for a lot of people, the office is a natural place because it's a business asset, it's a resource, and I can provide us with the resources we need, the conference room, the technology, the coffee breaks, the people to see. So I think it's still a thing. I think it's important, but we got to change the mindset about not getting people in the office just for the office sake, but what are the rhymes and reasons to get them in to be in person? Why is that needed?
Well, it's interesting, right? And I think our community has to continue to lead the way on a lot of that conversation, right? Because you see a lot of hybrid workflows and things like that, but you know, we've gotten to a point where a lot of companies have found their VPN setups. They've sort of found a rhythm. But the challenge now is still integrating both. And this is a problem that I face every single day in our workplace. Most people still face. People are literally calling entire workforces back to the office. So that it's a conversation worth having. But I think from a technology standpoint, we have to lead that conversation.
I think it's good. You know, it's the Wild West. I was on a panel yesterday, and that was a great term that was used because we're still recovering from pandemic buying patterns that were early on. Everyone got outfitted and everyone was out there. What I'm saying is there's a lot of devices and things out there and it's kind of tough for IT to manage. So IT wants to get people in, get them wrangled. It's an important thing that helps them have a sense of control, security, management as well too. But you can't make them just because you have a business initiative. You need to have people be motivated why they want to come in. And I think that's what would help the conversation.
Well, Craig, last question here. Maybe the most hard-hitting one of the day. Big shout out, by the way, to Chris Netto, who was on a panel yesterday.
Oh.
We're talking pineapple on pizza.
You went there.
Yes or no?
You went there. You know, it's funny, between Chris and Tim Albright, this is a hot topic on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call about. Pineapple on pizza. You really want me to take a stance on this, right?
I do. Hey, it's for some reason we as an industry care more about pizza toppings than some of our sub-verticals, but I didn't say that.
All right.
Am I allowed to say that? I did say that. But it's the truth.
Chris, forgive me here. I'm sorry, but I have to allow pineapple on pizza. I love just that little surprise of that sweetness in the middle of that bite of pizza. You got to have it sometimes. Chris, I'm sorry, guy.
I'm going to go on record and say I agree with you. I don't know that I've taken a public stance on the matter yet, but I like it. I like it. And my wife likes it too, by the way, which is great. So it's nice to share that with her.
That's great. That's good. I'm good. We ended on a positive note here.
Well, Craig, I'll tell you what. You know, all jokes aside, it really is incredible to have you on the show and to answer a lot of those questions because, you know, the great thing about InfoComm is you get to ask questions from manufacturers and service providers and ask some of those harder hitting questions and have an opinion about things. And I think that's what continues to drive our industry.
I agree. You know, walking around and just discovering too is incredible, right? The opportunity just to wander the aisles and turn a corner and say, what is that? I've got to see what that is.
Well, Craig, thanks so much for coming on. And Craig, you mentioned walking. One of the things that I don't like to do with the show is walk around. I like to take the Tesla loop, which is where our next segment is. Check it out, Tesla Trivia Challenge.
Hi, and welcome to the Vegas Loop, where we are going to engage in the Tesla Trivia Challenge underneath beautiful and colorful Las Vegas. We are going to ask 4 very brave contestants to answer some trivia questions while we ride the loop underneath this year's InfoComm 2024, which is rocking it above us even as we speak. So let's see if these people can keep their wits about them in all this excitement and answer some questions and be the victor in the Tesla Trivia Challenge. We are here with Manuela. Thank you so much for participating in our lovely Tesla Trivia Challenge. If you're ready to go, I think we should pull out.
All right, yeah.
All right. Driver, sir, please, let's be on our way. All right, question 1. What does LED stand for?
Light emitting diode.
Correct. Number 2, how long does it take to fully charge this Tesla using a level 3 supercharger? Would it be 1 hour, 8 hours, or 12 hours?
1 hour.
There you go, you're correct. Is the hottest temperature ever recorded in Las Vegas more than 120 degrees Fahrenheit or less than 120 degrees Fahrenheit?
Less than.
Correct. You get that. See, you guys, even though you don't know Fahrenheit, you're fine. The largest bronze statue in the United States is in Las Vegas, and it is a replica of what?
A lion.
No, that is not correct.
Oh, no.
Sphere, of course, is one of the newest venues in Las Vegas, and it is operated by MSG. What does MSG stand for?
I only know the cooking one.
A major international sporting event will be returning this fall to Las Vegas. What would that be?
The NBA.
No,
the Formula One.
Yes,
yes, okay.
I think we should give it because
okay.
There you go.
No.
I'm going to give you that one. There are 3 professional sports teams in Las Vegas. Can you name any of them?
Oh, the Raiders.
Yes.
What is the F1? The Golden.
Yeah, it's golden something. Maybe we should give you like 1.5. Yeah. What does CTS stand for?
Certified Technology Specialist.
Correct.
And it's on my badge, I should do know that.
Which downtown Las Vegas casino is famous for its role in the old movie Casino?
Ooh, I really don't know. Is it the Flamingo?
No, but that's a good guess because that's old school.
Yeah.
Approximately how many visitors come to Las Vegas every year? Would it be 18 million, 42 million, or 87 million?
42 million.
Correct! This stands at 550 feet tall. It's the high roller in Las Vegas, and it's the world's second largest, what?
Ferris wheel?
Yes! Bingo! How much does it cost to spend the night in the most expensive room in Las Vegas? Is it $25,000, $50,000, or $100,000?
I reckon it's got to be the top one, 100K.
Bingo, you got that one. How many members of the Rat Pack can you name?
Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., Dean Martin.
How many members of the famous Rat Pack could you name?
0.
I know. It's like, oh, you're too young for that. Look at, we're here. Congratulations, you completed it and you survived and you don't feel embarrassed.
Big breath of relief now.
You did very well. Thank you, sir. I appreciate your participation.
Not at all. Thank you.
We'll see how well you stand up in the end.
Yeah, I haven't got my hopes high.
Thanks.
Cheers.
That was intense. A lot of questions, some serious trivia that honestly I didn't even know before we started doing this. But it's very complicated. The tabulation had to go to Price Waterhouse, and I think we just got our numbers in. And the winner of the Tesla Trivia Challenge is. Thanks for being with us today here from InfoComm 2024 and the Tesla Trivia Challenge.
Thank you so much, Paula, for that. That looked like so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I was really pleased that Adam won that because I put Adam up for that.
Oh, you did?
And he's English as well. If he'd made a fool of me, I would be having serious words with him. But no, he did well.
I was just wondering if you were having PTSD from seeing this inside of the Tesla since you and Ben couldn't get out of one.
Yeah, we got pretty stuck
before.
in one of those the other day. I have to say that I was drawing a blank with the Vegas sports teams. I did not have a clue. Can you answer that question?
Okay, so now you're going to put me on the spot. Okay, so you have the Las Vegas Raiders. I know, just said Las Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah.
And
no, I think it's just the Vegas.
Oh, just Vegas Golden Knights. Okay, I'm sorry.
We got those guys on tomorrow or later today. I don't know.
Don't tell them I said that.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, of course, you got to give props to the Las Vegas Aces.
Yeah, women's basketball, of course.
There we go. Is that how you do it? I don't really know.
Yeah, that's pretty much. If you just do that,
I'm close.
You need a
there
ball
we go.
as well, I think.
We're gonna work on that. I have some time to do that. But yeah, it's really great to take that loop, especially getting from hall to hall while at InfoComm. It'll really save you some time and some time out of that scorching hot sun. So thanks again, Paula, for that. Up next, we are honored to be joined by Danielle Feinburg, the incredibly talented visual effects supervisor at Pixar Animation Studios. Danielle is also the keynote speaker for this year's AVIXA Women's Council Breakfast. So thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. So my understanding is this your first InfoComm?
This is my first InfoComm, yep.
Okay, so what do you think? And are your feet hurting? Are you seeing some cool technology? What are your thoughts?
Well, it's pretty awesome. I mean, it's hard to even pay attention because there's just right behind here, there's so many screens going and with beautiful stuff on them. So.
Exactly.
And there's a ton of energy, and I have to say, the Women's Council breakfast this morning was full of great energy in a room full of 350 women. It was really cool.
It's always a sold-out event, so I'm so excited. We want to hear a little bit more about that. But can you share a little bit with me and our audience about your journey into the field of animation and technology?
Yeah, so I studied computer science in college, and my junior year I took a computer graphics class, and the professor showed us the short films made by Pixar in the late 80s and early 90s. This was probably 1994, and I had this total epiphany of like, that's what I want to do. I had no idea how to do it, but no one knew what Pixar was then. But then within a year, Toy Story came out, which was the first feature-length animated film, and so it's like, that Pixar place, they must have jobs, because they made a movie. So I started at Pixar about 8 months after I graduated, and I started in a very kind of technical entry-level position on A Bug's Life, but did a little lighting and then got to move up. Back then, people didn't have experience doing computer animation because it was so new. So they said, oh, well, you did a good job. What do you want to try now? And I said, modeling and lighting. And so I kind of worked my way up through the ranks there over time. And I directed the lighting for Wally, Brave, and Coco. And recently took on the role of visual effects supervisor for Turning Red. And now I'm on Secret Stuff, but I did just get to help out for a minute on Inside Out 2 to help them get it through to the end. It opens tomorrow, and I got to go back to my roots and do lighting on that for like 4 months, which was super fun.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Okay. It's real relevant. Okay, so that comes out tomorrow?
It comes out tomorrow,
okay,
yeah.
So we're going to check out your work.
Yeah, that's hot off the press. That's amazing. And what a great message, I think, as well, for when you said about how you got into it. It was like, this is what I want to do. I've seen something I want to do. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but at least I've got the idea. I've got the vision. So get the vision and then figure out the details later.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
We say yes.
So you mentioned that you were speaking at the AVIXA Women's Council breakfast. Can you give us a little of a rundown of how that went and how the whole event was?
Yeah, it was wonderful. It was a giant room full of women, and everybody was fired up. They're excited about the conference, and there's great energy because it was a room full of women, and I got to talk to them about different challenges on our films, but also different challenges I've encountered in my life, and kind of weaving those together into some maybe life advice, and now they could probably all make their own animated film, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We had a really good time. It was a lot of fun.
That's incredible. So, storytelling. It's all about storytelling, right?
Yeah.
In your professional life, in doing these incredible speeches that you do and supporting our industry. Yeah, we appreciate it so much. Thank you so much for
It was
doing
such
that.
a great time.
Absolutely. And so you were talking about some of the projects that you were working on. So I want to dig a little bit deeper into like the AV technology side of things. So can you provide us some examples of how AV technology has really enhanced your work, particularly when it comes to creating immersive experiences on some of those projects with Pixar?
Yeah, I think one of the more recent examples is when I was directing the lighting, I was in the theaters making sure that the color was correct on the monitor, making sure that everything was sort of dialed in exactly. Lighting is sort of the final creative step, and so I am the eyes to make sure it's exactly what we want. And so as I was doing that on Coco, was the last movie that I directed lighting for, Atmos sound started coming through, and so how immersive that was in the theaters. And now, because that can come in a non-cinematic setting, And so I could be sitting at home and it's doing the right thing with this thing that's been engineered to be sort of all around you. And that allows also the sound designers to think more about the creative nuance of things instead of the sort of dynamics of delivery or the mechanics of delivery. And so that's one that occurs to me as a sort of an immersive thing that I remember being sort of blown away by, and just how much it changed things.
That's fantastic.
And has that changed, that technology you're speaking of, has that changed much? Has it been advancing a lot since you first kind of got involved with it to now? Has there been a lot of advancement in that space?
We would have to probably ask our sound engineers that more than me. I'm more of like, I'm sitting in the room and they're asking me, does the picture look exactly right? And I'm like, but that's sound, that's amazing.
Absolutely, that's great. I'd like to also give you an opportunity to talk about the STEM camps for girls that you're involved with, because that sounds like an incredible initiative. Can you give us some information about that?
Yeah, so I think it was 2003, Finding Nemo had come out. That's how my timeline of my life is all about which movie came out. And someone posted at Pixar trying to raise money for this girls' math and science camp. And I thought, I wish I had that growing up. And it was for girls between 7th and 8th grade, so probably 13.
Yeah.
And I emailed them. I looked at their website and I emailed them and I said, hey, I know camp's next week, but I would have loved to have had this when I was growing up. Maybe I could do something next year. And then I gave my credentials. I was like, and I studied computer science at Harvard, and I work at Pixar doing animated films. And the woman wrote me back almost immediately, and she said, I scheduled you for 3 classes next week. You need to be down at Stanford. And so I drove down to Stanford with, Publicity gave me the most enormous stuffed Dory and stuffed Nemo. And so my car was filled, and I'm driving down the highway, and people are giving me very funny looks. But that was sort of how I got started speaking. And watching the girls' eyes when I talked about all the math and science behind our films, and it was all stuff they could understand. I wasn't going into like deep math, and that was what made animated films that they loved. You could see how excited they were about it. It was the same way I felt when I was sitting in my computer graphics class, and so I was sort of hooked from then on, and I just do whatever I can to try and sort of change who is in the field, and so there's more women and underserved populations, and by just showing them some of the great things that you can do with math and science so they stick with it, not necessarily to make movies, but just that there's really exciting things you can do beyond a problem set or something.
Yeah. Sure. And I think as well, it kind of speaks to the point that we're speaking about with our previous guests from Matrox Video. We can get really into the depth and the kind of technical details of certain parts, but then when you're speaking to other audiences where it's a lot more kind of high level, it's really important to be dynamic, right, and deliver the right message to the right person. And I suppose as well, having Dory and Nemo in the car, you can use the carpool lane. Right?
I mean, it helped, yeah, and the carpool lane, I'm sure.
People were probably looking because they were jealous and they wanted one of those things. But that's fantastic. And yes, absolutely, representation matters. So really great to hear how you're doing that and your outreach there. And we couldn't let you leave without talking about AI. So obviously, it's a hot topic. And can you just share a little bit about how AI has been utilized in your projects at Pixar, and where do you see its future role going forward in animation?
Yeah, I'd say a lot of times now when we're talking about AI that's sort of everywhere, we're talking generative AI that's like a ChatGPT or a Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, those kinds of things. There's things that fall under AI that have been going for years, and so we don't use any of the generative AI in our films yet, but we have been using something since Toy Story 4 that's called a denoiser, and so we send all our information off to the machines to generate a frame that shows up in a theater or on your screen, and we can have the computer stop calculating earlier than finished and run it through that denoiser, and it magically makes the perfect image because it's used machine learning to learn what it should be doing. And it's, to me, it is magic because it's like, that is amazing, it can do that. And so I think that's some of the excitement now is some of the magic that's coming from AI of sort of generating images and all the stuff ChatGPT can do. I think for me right now personally, I've tried generating images with AI, and while it is super inspirational, I get really excited about it. Trying to, like, putting in a prompt and seeing something and you're like, wow, that's really cool, or that's really cool, and I like this piece of that one and that. But if I'm trying to use it to make an image I have in my head, or to convey something that is kind of exacting, because we're kind of control freaks at Pixar. We really love to do exactly what, have control over everything. I can't quite get it there.
Okay.
And so I think the thing about AI that's terrifying and awesome is just how fast everything is getting better and better.
Yeah.
I think as a technologist and an artist, I have to believe that we can use it to help us with some of the things we care less about, but that sort of the fundamental human experience of creating art to express who we are is never going to go away.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm absolutely positive that you will have inspired a ton of people with your story.
Definitely.
If they would like to get in touch, what's the best? And hopefully this doesn't open a tsunami of emails and everything like that. But if they want to get in touch with you, are you on LinkedIn? Can they find you there?
I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. That's where I'm probably most active, is LinkedIn and Instagram.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining
Thank
us.
you for having
Hope
me.
you enjoy the rest of the show. Go and see some cool tech, and we'll hopefully see you again soon.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Now, of course, viewers, we wouldn't be able to sort of give the viewers the experience that they're currently seeing, hearing, and all of the things around us here at the AVIXA TV studio without the generous support of our sponsors. And now we're going to join those sponsors for a tour of the booth, so let's go and have a look.
The AVIXA TV studio wouldn't be possible without the contributions of our technology partners. They're going to take you on a behind-the-scenes tour to give you a sneak peek at some of the solutions they've provided that make this space possible.
Hi, my name is James Tian. I am the CEO of ICANN. We are thrilled to be here at InfoComm, sponsoring and helping AVIXA with their TV studio. We are a manufacturer of broadcast studio equipment, namely LED lighting, teleprompters, and pedestals, and all three of those core product lines are represented here at this booth. So for example, here you have our 15-inch teleprompter system with a talent monitor that is being used alongside our pedestal system, and this entire system, in conjunction with the Hitachi camera, is being used for this virtual set as we speak. But the most exciting product we want to showcase here at InfoComm is our new Power over Ethernet lighting. And the entire set is being lit with our PoE lighting. These are 1x1 panels, and behind there are low profile panels as well as Fresnels. So PoE, Power over Ethernet, a single Cat6 cable is simultaneously powering these lights and controlling these lights. And it outputs a lot of power. In fact, the majority of the lights you see here are only at 50%. The ones in the back are only 30%. And that just tells you how powerful these lights can be. And the biggest benefit of our Power over Ethernet lighting is that because they are low voltage, you don't need permitting to get AC power in the ceiling. They can be installed through Cat6 cables, and you can get your studio set up and ready in a very short amount of time.
Hello, I'm Keith Yankee with Sharp, and here we're sponsoring the displays within the AVIXA studio. We've got two different examples of how displays can be used from a confidence monitor standpoint as well as up overhead. We have some audience monitor, and the 4PB series is what we've sponsored with the AVIXA studio, and that product ranges in sizes from 43 to 86 inches and provides a number of different features depending on the environment that they're used in, whether it's signage, corporate education. We've got public mode, which can lock out control from the display from the audience or from those in it, like a transportation environment. We also have a 3-year warranty on these products, as well as a full array of inputs, tuner, audio capability, and again, the 4PB series ranging from 43 to 86 inches.
Hi, welcome to InfoComm. My name is Ben Escobedo. I am Market Development with Shure, and we're really pleased to help support the AVIXA TV studio. I'm going to talk about 3 products today. The first one you're actually listening to right now. This is the SLX-D microphone system, a wireless digital professional microphone system with the SLX-D 5 receiver going to the camera. Of course, I have the handheld, then we have the body pack. Easy to set up. It sounds great, as you can hear right now. The second product we are happy to support with is the TwinPlex headset. The TwinPlex headset is a very unique headset offering the TwinPlex capsule, So it's a very omnidirectional capsule with a kind of a twin cartridge design. It's very unique in the industry. And the cable is nothing short of remarkable. It's very supple. It doesn't get twisted. It doesn't take a memory, and it lasts many, many cycles before you have an issue with it, of course. And then lastly, I think everybody knows, you think microphones, you think Shure. Well, the SM7B, obviously the de facto choice in podcast and broadcast microphones. Your favorite podcaster uses it, has a great sound quality. Everybody knows and loves it. It's been a staple in our catalog for years. And of course, we have it here at the AVIXA TV studio.
Hi there, I'm Matt Morgan with Ross Video. I'm a business development manager with Ross and really just focus on the end users and customers. So we're partnering with AVIXA to bring Ross Video technology and solutions into the AVIXA TV studio this year at InfoComm. Excited to be here and to give you a quick tour of what we are providing through the studio. So as you can see behind me, we obviously have a green screen here, and driving all the virtual content that the AVIXA TV studio is using is our Voyager and our Expression software for all the virtual environments and AR elements that we're bringing to the booth and to the live broadcasts and streams. And then helping capture those environments, we also have our robotics. We have two Ross Video X350 heads, which are really great. The benefits of the X350 heads is not only in the front you have a tally light and information that you can use in real time, but you also can use these for augmented reality, things like that. So the heads have tracking in them, a lot of really cool stuff you can do. So we're excited to have those on the booth. And then behind you can also see the pedestal here, which is our Ross Video Furio Blackbird pedestal, and that helps with getting all the tracking and the pan tilt movements along with AR stuff inside of the broadcast, which is a lot of fun. And then driving everything in the background is our Carbonite Ultra 60, which is our switcher package, which has everything for all the video, switching, routing, all that, including audio and everything you can think of within a package switcher platform we can do there. And then behind that and driving it is our touch drive control panel. So it's a TD3 back there. It's a state-of-the-art switcher console, but really we're just happy to be here and partnering with AVIXA for the studio. And if you need any more information, feel free to reach out to us at rossvideo.com.
Good stuff. Well, thank you so much again to all of our sponsors, Ross, Shure, iCan, Sharp. I certainly learned a bit about that, which also, you probably can't see these, we've got some little holes here on the desk, which are obviously for the microphones, I realise now. I thought they were just space for a tiny little drink.
Tiny little drink holder for your champagne flute.
Yeah, exactly.
That may be coming into the show tomorrow, so we will see.
Speaking of which, what have we got on the show for tomorrow?
Absolutely.
Oh, sorry, no, this afternoon. We can't get ahead of ourselves.
Yes,
Whoa.
no, come back this afternoon. So on this afternoon show, we have some fantastic guests joining us, including a few exciting surprises, so you'll just have to wait and see. But we'll be sitting down with our AV friends from Shure and Leon Speakers, as well as hosting a special Las Vegas sports panel featuring guests from the Las Vegas Knights and the Las Vegas Raiders. And of course, we'll be checking in with Ben Thomas to teach us a few new things from the virtual production stage.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to seeing you this afternoon. I look forward to seeing all of our viewers this afternoon. Ben as well. We're going to be seeing you over at the virtual stage. Yes. There he is, the man himself. And yeah, we will see you this afternoon. Take care.
See you soon.
Good morning. Welcome to InfoComm 2024. I feel like this is the show we have been waiting for. I feel like this is the event that is at the starting point of another generation for our industry. And it is certainly a moment for me that has great emotion, because I have an opportunity today to introduce my good friend, Joe Pham, the CEO and chairman of QSC and QSYS. That's a big deal. Not quite as big a deal as having been the chair of the AVIXA board of directors. He began his career when he departed from UCLA with his PhD in electrical engineering. took a step at McKinsey, paused and worked with us while he's been at QSC and QSYS. It's my honor, my privilege, to introduce our keynote speaker today, Joe Pham.
Thank you, Dave. Welcome. Thank you, sir. Hello, InfoComm. Whoa, boy, we've got a crowd. That's good. I thought I was going to have to ask you to make a little bit more noise, but we're good. It is such an honor to be in front of you today. Thank you, Dave, for that very kind introduction. I have so much on my mind. There's so much that we want to talk about, but one thing I just want to make clear, we're going to have a little bit of fun this morning, okay? I mean, this is InfoComm Las Vegas. So are we ready to just have a little bit of fun? Awesome. I am excited about the potential in our world. I am excited about our industry. My goodness, I am really excited about this LED wall screen behind me. Thank you to our partners Pixelflex for providing this beautiful, beautiful screen. What a lovely screen that I have today to share the AV stories with you. Okay? So we're going to talk about technology. We're going to talk about AI. We're obviously going to talk about our industry and all of the potentials that I see in our industry. But again, let's try to have a little bit of fun because this is InfoComm. We ready to go? This is a great crowd. Let's go. Everything has changed, period. Let's go. Thank you, Dave, for that introduction. I'm not even going to go through this. I'm going to go straight to the real enterprise, Family LLC. Okay? I am certainly not the boss of this company. So my wife, Michelle, is the CEO. Our little girl, Ellie, is the chair girl of the board. And the three boys here are simply trying not to get fired. Okay. This picture was taken in 2016 in Dubrovnik, and Ellie was 4 right there. And this picture was taken early last January. Ellie was 11. But the parents in the room, you know how fast our kids grow up, right? I mean, that kid there he just finished his first year at UCLA this week, 6'2 and a half. The second kid is finishing his junior year in high school, 6'3 and a half. No jokes if they're mine, please. Okay? No jokes if they're mine. Okay? And then Ellie, the little girl grew up so fast. And so I brought this up because Ellie was the inspiration for this talk. When this photo was taken January last year, it was just a couple months after ChatGPT was released. And it hit me at that point that Ellie, as an 11-year-old, is living a very, very entirely different lifetime than I lived at 11. I mean, let's just start with when I was 11, there was no internet. Okay? So I'm like, how is that possible that in one generation everything has changed? Has technology always accelerated this fast? So I went back 50 years, 100 years, 500 years. I went back 1,000,000 years of history to study technology and innovation. So if you allow me, I want to take you through 1,000,000 years of technology and innovation, but we're going to do it in 5 minutes because we have other things to talk about. Okay, so let's go through 1,000,000 years of human progress and innovation. Way, way back then, really the first great invention was fire. Fire obviously existed prior to 1,000,000 years ago, but it was our ability to use fire as a tool to keep us warm, to cook our foods. That was the invention. Oh, you must be laughing at the very, very first tweet ever. And it was still called Twitter back then. Okay? So we were becoming more, we were getting healthier, right? Because we were able to cook our food. And then that really allowed us to slowly develop our brains. So this led to the next revolution, which is the cognitive revolution. We're developing our brains, we develop language, we have memory, we have planning skills, we have reasoning skills. At this time, though, really the only profession still was hunter-gatherers. Okay? But because we were developing our brains, we were able to lead into the next revolution, which was the agricultural revolution. And we developed the wheel and the plow, and then this allowed human beings to have a profession other than hunter-gatherers. People became farmers, builders, traders, philosophers, etc. And then, my goodness, the printing press at the end of this revolution, one of the greatest inventions of humankind, right? At this point, we saw the first cycle, and the cycle goes like this. Knowledge spreads, innovation happens, we have a higher quality of life, we live longer, we get more educated. And then that's the cycle that continues to today. Except it's not like a warp speed today. So, next was the scientific revolution, personally my favorite other than the one right now, because I'm a bit of a STEM geek. I love it. Calculus, physics, astronomy, chemistry, biology. So it really was an acceleration in human knowledge that transformed fundamentally how we viewed our world. We're getting close. Industrial revolution laid the foundation for this modern world today. So, steam engines, electricity, telephone, telegraphs, airplanes, so much, and obviously the computer. Okay? It really was just a period of an explosion of inventions. And who do we have here? We have Edison, one of the key contributors to electricity. Okay? But this takes us up to 1969, where we land a man on the moon. So 1969 is the year before I was born. So I am terming my lifetime as the exponential age. I can frame this around my lifetime because it's my presentation, okay? The internet, cloud and mobile, and the greatest invention of them all, AI. Things are moving so fast today that as human beings, we really can't understand this pace of innovation. S-curves are feeding into each other. Technology is compounding at crazy speed. I mean, the music you're listening to right now is AI. No human being wrote this, but it's so powerful, it's as if only a human being could have written this. This is a remarkable moment. From fire to AI, everything has changed. I mean, there is zero exaggeration when I say this is the most remarkable of all remarkable times. Okay? So I wanted to go through that because I want to put the entire conversation today in a broader context. So let me pull out a few takeaways. This is the story of human progress and potential. Okay, now obviously, it's a qualitative chart. It looks like an exponential, but I'm actually going to argue that human progress and potential is an exponential. Because when you look at, for the math folks in the room, and when you look at the logarithm of the time, logs are the same as exponential, what you have here is hundreds of thousands of years between major innovation. Then tens of thousands of years, then thousands of years, then hundreds of years, then decades, and now we're at a point where we're getting major disruption and innovation on a yearly basis. That's exponential. Okay, that is exponential. And so bringing back the story to Ellie, back here, I mean, you had tens of thousands of generations of 11-year-olds that basically lived the same life. And yet here in one generation, my little girl is living a totally different life than I was when I was there. So it is, what is the world going to be like when I have an 11-year-old grandchild? I can't tell you, no one can tell you, but I can tell you what it feels like. It feels like we are literally watching the future right now. Okay? So let's talk about AI. Let's talk about AI. We're going to talk about three things about AI. Three things have come together in a very magical way for this AI moment. It's computing, it's data, and it's neural networks. Okay, so let's talk about those three things. Computing, exponential, flops per dollar. Okay? So it seems like every 20 years there's a new paradigm in computing, from the 60s of mainframes to the 80s of PCs to the 2000s of mobile. And now computing is literally the massive data centers in the world. Okay? And so this is exponential from 1960 to today. You can actually even go back to 1940. If you were to plot this from 1940, you get on a log chart, you get a straight line, which is exponential. So we're talking about from telephone relays to vacuum tubes to transistors to IC. Exponential. So that's point one. Computing is exponential. Point two is I actually don't see a near-term end to this. I mean, yes, eventually it will taper off in some manner, but if you look at, there's so many vectors of innovation that's happening in computing today, and then we have quantum computing on the horizon. Computing exponential. And so here is the king of computing, Mr. Jensen Huang. He said, what would you do when your computer is 1,000,000 times faster? I've seen him speak many times. He often gives the argument that computing has accelerated 1,000 times in 5 years. Gives an argument that that will continue. So 1,000 times in 5 years is 1,000,000 times in 10. Okay, 1,000,000 times in 10. Now, I have to admit, I'm a bit of a fanboy of this guy. So I went to the GTC conference, and you know I like selfies. So this is a selfie of me with him taking a selfie with someone else. That's as close as I got. Okay, that's as close as I got. That's his security behind him. You can't mess with this guy. Okay, so exponential, it's going to continue. Data, same thing. Exponential, and it's going to continue. When I gave a talk in 2016 around the industry, data was down here. And then I gave a talk at InfoComm 2019, data's here. Now data's up there. We're at 200 zettabytes. If I give a talk in a few years, that point will be down here. Okay? Data is exponential. And so because of that, you always get a crazy statistic like this, where just a massive amount of data has been generated in the last 18 months. And then by the end of the year, by the end of the decade, we'll be up to 1 yottabyte. Okay? No one knows what a yottabyte is. I won't even ask. It's 10 to the 24th. So we can write 1, and we can write 24 zeros, and we can put the word byte at the end, but our brains can't comprehend this. Okay? It's exponential, and it will continue. Because, we're all walking around human sensors, right? And you're going to get into synthetic data generation. So data generated by AIs. AIs talking to AIs, that's a lot of synthetic data. So this is definitely going to continue. And then the last thing, the neural network. Okay? So sometimes people talk about AI is nothing new, and that it's sort of is an 80-year field. They're actually correct. Okay? This is the first paper from 1943. It's the first paper that actually talked about what we refer to today as neural networks. And this is a monumental paper in 2017 from Google, Attention is All You Need. Okay? And that, it outlined the transformer neural network architecture. So I know this is not a technical conference, but I really want to impress on you just 4 characteristics of the transformer. If you can lock this in, you won't be surprised about what you've seen in the last 18 months, and you'll be less surprised about what you see in the coming years. Okay? So the transformer, number 1, it's extremely, extremely smart. So you put things in the context windows, it understands all the tokens in the context of each other. Okay? Because prior to the transformer, there was a lot of different neural network architectures. The transformer is the one that's bringing it together. So it's extremely, extremely smart. Number 2, it's super scalable and efficient. You can throw massive amounts of data at it, and it computes in a very efficient, parallel way. Okay? Number 3, it's extremely resilient. The transformers that you're using today, so the T in GPT stands for transformer. Okay, that's what that stands for. It's the 100 AI models that you're using today, it's likely using transformers that are the same one from 2017. Okay? And then number 4, and this one's really important, multimodal. This was really the breakthrough that brought together lots of different fields of AI. So multimodal means you can throw it almost any mode. Text, so that means text in any language. It means code in any language. Audio, so that's speech in any language. It also means music in any style. Images, 2D, 3D, videos, animation. Anything that has structure. So this includes molecules, enzymes, proteins. Okay? It's a remarkable breakthrough. So when you think of any mode to any mode, it actually explains a lot of what you've seen in the last 18 months and what you'll continue to see. So I'm going to go through, one of the things is it's called generative pre-trained transformer. I actually like to think of it as standing for general purpose technology because it's not transformational. And you know what else was a general purpose technology? Electricity. Electricity, right? Things that have applications everywhere. So let's go through. Actually, I'm going to do one more thing. And the reason I want to go through all this is I really want our industry to understand AI from a broader point of view. If I originally thought about just showing AI updates, but anytime you just show AI news and updates, it gets completely outdated in 3 weeks. Okay? So there's one other thing let's go through. Let's go through not an 80-year history, but let's go through a much shorter, let's say 20-year time window of AI, just starting back from 2012. Okay? Starting back to the classification era. 2012, a convolutional neural network came out called AlexNet. You put a cat in and it says cat. And this is the first example of what I would call just isms. So a lot of people looked at this and said, well, that's cute. It can tell it's a cat. Jensen Huang looked at this and said the computer had changed forever. Okay? So this really ignited massive activities in neural networks. Okay? And then that takes us up to and classification. You see a ton, right? You write an Amazon review, it's favorable. I put this on my face, it says it's Joe Pham. My social media profile says this guy likes yoga, meditation, and guitar. Those are all classification type of AIs, and the list is long. Okay? Lots of classification. Generative. This is the era. Obviously, ChatGPT was the big bang for generative AI, and this is the era that has captured everyone's imagination. Remember, this is the any mode to any mode because it's using the transformer. So I'm just going to show you a few examples. The first one is going to be text to speech and animation. Okay, text to speech and animation. So to do that, I need to share a bit of a story. So I named myself Joe. Okay. I immigrated here from Vietnam. My mom took me to enroll me in kindergarten, and the administrator said, there is no way the kids are going to be able to pronounce his name. So the administrator said, do you have a different name? And I said, yeah, call me G.I. Joe. And the administrator said, well, maybe we just drop the GI part there. So nearly 50 years later, I'm going to show you text to speech and animation. I want to introduce you to AI Joe.
Hi, I'm Joe Pham, and welcome to InfoComm. Please make sure to visit us at booth C3 and discover our ridiculously amazing new technologies. Experience what's possible with
AI Joe is very
Hola,
fluent.
Soy Joe Pham y bienvenidos a InfoComm. Por favor,
Spanish.
asegúrate de visitar en el stand CC. Hallo, ich bin Joe Pham und
German.
willkommen bei InfoComm. Besuchen Sie Q am Stand C5. 你好，我是乔帆，欢迎来到信息通信站，请务必参观。
You can go on and on and on and on and on. You can go on and on and on and on and on, right? And so this is just, that's not me talking, right? That's just text and to animation. Let's go with another example. What do we have next? Oh, let's do this, text to video, okay? And there's one reason I want to show this chart, because just isms show up again. 2023, well, it's an okay chat bot, but it really can't do video, obviously. 1 year later, this was just released last week. It's called Kling. It's an AI that's coming out of China, a Chinese tech firm. 1 year later, okay? This is not even important. The only thing important on this slide, the only thing that's important on this slide is the pace of innovation. It has never, ever, ever been this fast. Okay. So for those of you who are using AI and you don't like it, I have great, great, great news for you. Your AI that you're using is the dumbest AI that you'll ever have to use again in your life. Because the pace of innovation is so crazy. Okay? So we're going to do one more just for fun. We love music. This is InfoComm. We're the AV industry. So we're going to do text to music. So I threw this into a prompt, a rock song about the InfoComm trade show. Topics: sight and sound, human connection, AI, innovation, Las Vegas, greatest show on earth, obviously. AV, and every time you write, you got to write audio visual or else it thinks it's autonomous vehicles. Okay? So I put this in. This took 10 seconds for me to write. 10 seconds later, I got this.
Bright lights, dazzling sights, innovation all around. Connections made, ideas shared in this AV playground. AI is everywhere, a spectacle so grand in this vibrant city, Las Vegas land. Human connections are made to the sound of a digital beat. Navigating through the crowds feels like a grand parade. Booths and demos left and right in this cutting-edge arcade. It's an audio-visual dreamland starting right now. Welcome to InfoComm, with sight and sound amaze. Step into the future in 1,000 different ways. The greatest show on earth as the buzz begins to grow. And we'll keep on going 'cause it's all a part of the show.
All right, that's enough. That is enough of that. That is enough. You like it? I like it. I like it. Where's Dave Labuscus? That should be like everywhere. No. So here's the thing. 10 seconds to write, 10 seconds to come back. This is the inference process. It cost me 4 cents. The cost of intelligence is going to go down to zero. This cost me 4 cents, right? $10 a month, 250 songs, that's 25 songs for $1, that's 4 cents. So, agentic era. This is going to blow your mind. Generative was about knowledge. You give it one shot and it gives you knowledge. Agentic is about action. Okay? So we're going to get into agents. So if the agents stay in the digital world, there'll be digital agents. If the agents are interacting in the physical world, robotics is another great example. And the intelligence goes from just knowledge, which was the generative era, to multi-step planning, reasoning, memory. This is starting to look like the cognitive revolution again. Okay? This is going to blow our mind. And again, I'm just putting dates here, and at this point, we're just guessing. Okay, at this point, we're just guessing in terms of when artificial general intelligence will come. So that's basically, there's no standard definition. Just think of it as the AI is smarter than any human or smarter than all humans combined. Okay? It's probably by the end of the decade. What are we going to do with all this? And are we ready for it? So artificial intelligence will have a more profound impact on humanity than fire, electricity, and the internet. Right? Electricity gave us power on tap. The internet gave us information on tap. AI is giving us intelligence on tap. It is a really, really, really big deal.
Dude, wait. I'm gonna let you finish, but AI is going to take all our jobs away. It's a disaster waiting to happen.
Okay, well, that is a really important topic, but I'm in the middle of a keynote.
Don't worry, Real Joe. I got this. Hey, AI Joe, yes, there will certainly be disruption, but history tells us that technology creates more jobs and new opportunities we haven't even imagined yet. No way. I've heard this song before. We should just stop developing AI right now. No, we just need to be smart. Develop safely, responsibly, ethically. All of us have the power to shape AI for the better and use it to improve humanity. Wrong. Again. AI is bad. I'm right. You're dumb. Why are you so naive?
Okay, hold on. When the AI starts insulting you, just turn it off. Okay, just turn it off. Now, I showed that, because, and I don't want to make light of the situation. There's a lot of concerns about AI, and a lot of really legitimate concerns about AI, and we as humanity need to solve some serious problems. So I just want to encourage everyone here to attend the Q&A session tomorrow at 1 p.m. at the AI Experience stage, and we can talk about anything that is on your mind. Okay, anything is on your mind. But I'm honestly an optimist. I see a future of abundance, and it's not because I'm oblivious to the problems. The problems are really significant. It's just that I believe our capability and our capacity to solve our biggest challenges is way greater than before. And that's what makes me an optimist and sees a future of abundance. Okay? So, and I'll just summarize the AI section, and we'll move more to AV. The reason this is so is we're talking about intelligence, and intelligence is the creation of everything that we have. And AI is now a lever on intelligence. I don't want to say never, but I cannot imagine it getting bigger than this moment. Okay? So let's talk about our industry. Let's shift, let's talk a little bit about the AV industry. This was a talk that I did in 2016. I went around the industry and talked about, it was called Winter is Coming. You remember the original photo was taken in Dubrovnik. That's where they recorded a lot of the Game of Thrones. If you're a Game of Thrones, you already know this phrase. And the catchphrase, Winter is Coming, meaning IT is coming. I've been in this industry for 20 years. We've been talking about AV IT convergence for 20 years. So what we did here is we mapped IT cycles and we mapped AV cycles, and the conclusion is AV is always behind IT. Okay? So I just want, AV IT has happened. It has come, it has happened.
Winter is coming. See, I told you.
With that animation, I want to officially close the book on a conversation on AV IT convergence. Because technology is moving so fast, we need a conversation around AV AI convergence. Okay? And I should be clear. Let me define my definitions. Okay, and I can because it's my presentation. Okay, so let me define. By IT, I mean network, switches, and infrastructure, somewhat of a hardware mindset. And by AI, I mean cloud compute, data, neural networks, hardware, but much more of a software mindset. And by IT, I mean redundancy, resiliency, safety, security, obviously needed and critically important, but that's a utility framework. And by AI, I mean insights, outcome, connection, much more of a experience mindset. Okay? So whether we like it or not, AI is coming, and I believe we have the potential to drive the positive changes of this convergence. Let me shift gears. Not about technology, let's just shift gears on the world for a second. There's a lot of things happening in the world that makes a lot of us feel uneasy. Geopolitical conflict, so wars in multiple regions at this point, financial instability, we have a debt finance economy and a fiat system that has created and continues to proliferate a massive wealth gap in the world. We have social divide, which is extreme populism on the left and the right. And we have the pandemic, and besides the horrible health consequences, the pandemic has torn a lot of people apart too. So it is the great modern irony that in a world with nearly 8 billion people technologically connected, that I feel like we have a world where we are more disconnected than ever as human beings. It's a sad situation, and a lot of us don't feel good about it. Okay? And I bring this up for a few reasons. I'm not going to talk about the wars. I'm not going to talk about the finance. I'm not going to talk about the social divide. But let me make a few points on the pandemic, since that has completely changed our industry. So, really good news is tech adoption. I mean, we had about 5 years of video conferencing adoptions in 5 months. And then we've gone from hybrid work to, work from home to hybrid work to future of work. And so, but one of the challenges of this situation is that it's really hard to keep employees engaged and connected. I'm not going to read this chart, but it's intuitive. Employees that are low in belonging, bad. Employees that are high in belonging, good. Employee disconnection costs U.S. companies up to $406 billion a year from Harvard Business Review. If we extrapolate that to the world, it's $1 trillion problem. I'm not saying that's $1 trillion opportunity for AV, but AV has a significant role here to connect human beings. And so we know that intrinsically that humans are wired to connect. This is a quote from Dr. Peter Salovey. He's a PhD professor at Yale University. He's the one that coined the term emotional intelligence. Humans are wired to connect. We know this. And it's actually more than intrinsic, it's physical. Right? When you are born, you are physically connected to another human being. And then the cord gets cut, and what happens? We cry like a baby until we feel the warm embrace of another human being. Not all species are like that, but humans are absolutely wired to connect. We know that. And so humans are wired to connect. Enterprises need to connect their workforce to deliver great results. Institutions everywhere need to elevate the experience because we live in a very spoiled hybrid digital world, right? And then just the world needs more human connection and joy. But yet we are the industry that controls and manages and amplifies the two most important senses for human connection, sight and sound. We're the last mile to your eyes and ears. That is a critical mile. This is very meaningful and gives us purpose as an industry. Now, sight and sound is related to what I will call eyes and ears. Everywhere. Now, when I put this up, there's always some concerns around security, privacy, ethics, legal regulations, for sure. We have to address all of that. But I want to talk about the significance of eyes and ears everywhere. We as an industry have eyes and ears everywhere. Because if you go back to AI, it's about the compute, the data, and the neural networks. We are not going to outcompute NVIDIA. We are not going to out-neural network Google and OpenAI and Meta. And so the only differentiating factor for most industries, for most companies, is data. And yet we as an industry have eyes and ears everywhere. This data is critical for our AV systems. It's also critical for the platforms that we connect with, like the UC platforms, smart buildings platform, etc. Okay? And so, if data is the only differentiating factor, and we have literally the best data set of real-time human connection out of anyone, you know that's value. And I'll give you just one more thing on data. It's related to this. I call it point 3. But if you think about the next generation of AI development, what are we going to see? We're going to see true multimodal end-to-end single neural networks. It's been trained on text. It's been trained on images. The key next modality is data, is video. Okay? We are going to see AIs that need to understand the physical world, the physics of the physical world. What do you need? You need video of the real world. We're going to see agents that need to be trained on interacting with human beings. What do you need? Video of human interaction. And we're going to need safer AI that is more aligned with human values. What are you going to need? Video of human interaction. This is truly an unbelievable thing that we have as an industry. This is really when sight turns into insight. Okay. And so, yes, synthetic data is going to be very synthetic video data, but we as an industry, and this is such a critical point, we as an industry have real-time, situated, and in context, geospatially aligned video everywhere. That is really valuable. I know this is not a technical conference, and I know it's not an investor conference, but if there was an ETF on the AV sector, I would buy it. Okay, that is not financial advice. Okay, not financial advice. Okay? Let me wrap up this with a quick story. So I've spent a lot of time at Stanford and Silicon Valley in the last 18 months. I was at Stanford for training, and there were 60 executives from Google and Amazon and McKinsey and BCG and PwC and Accenture, and they put us into 10 teams of 6. And we had to have a business case competition for the week. Okay? My team won. My team won. Okay, so why am I sharing this? Well, 1% is so for me to brag. But the 99% reason of why I'm sharing is it was just an eyes and ears everywhere opportunity in the AV industry. So you're talking the judges for this business case competition was professors at Stanford in engineering, in computer science, from the business school, and then they bring in a couple of their VC friends. And that panel, out of 10 cases, picked eyes and ears in the AV as the best opportunity they saw. And I want to tell you something. Those opportunities are everywhere in our industry. Okay? So, it is time. It is time for us to step up to center stage. The world needs our technology for human connection. We have an amazing ability in terms of the access to data to really advance human connection and insights and outcomes and the great experiences that we want to do. Okay, we've always been an industry that's a little bit behind IT, and it's sort of like people care less. That shouldn't be the case, because it is our moment to step up to center stage. Are you excited? Yeah. So how are we going to do this? Let's try that again. How are we going to do this? Oh, the clicker ran out of battery. We're going to bring back our friends, the Avengers, or the AV-Engers. Okay? The AV-Engers. So this was a talk I actually delivered at InfoComm in 2019, and I went around the world again. And so, you shouldn't see that. This was inspired in 2019 because QSC had just did the world premiere of the Avengers. So I said, let's do something around the Avengers. At that time, we had left the 6th Infinity Stone unknown. I remember in an InfoComm, I said, I don't know what it is, but I'm sure it will reveal itself in the coming years. It is clearly about connection and human experience, without question. Okay? Without question. And then I just want to bring back one slide from the AV-Engers from 2019. And this was the slide from 2019. I think my clicker is not. Oh. I said these asteroids were going to come at us. And the asteroids were labeled machine learning, deep learning, neural networks, artificial intelligence. This was from 2019, and we spoke about this at InfoComm. So I want to tell you something. The asteroids are here in a big, big, big way. In a big way. And are you ready for it? Okay. Oh, great, clicker's working. So let me talk about just a few things. I'm going to talk about the technology pieces on this slide, but before that, I just want to make one comment on talent, just a really brief comment. This industry has always had a big priority to attract the next generation of talent. An AV industry with a vision of connection and human experience through advanced technologies, I believe will attract a next generation of talent. The technical talent, the creative talent, the new generation that rightfully has purpose and meaning much more high on their list. So that's a talk for another time. So I am gonna just talk about some of the software piece, the technology pieces here. Software cloud, platform ecosystems, data AI. Because for us to do what we want to do, we need to engineer our systems correctly. And we don't have to overthink this. Engineering our architecture correctly really just means the way the technology world does it. And so
I am inevitable.
I am Groot.
There was literally no reason for that animation other than the fact that I just wanted to close the book on the AV engines. So now it's closed. Okay? So software cloud. Let's talk about software cloud. Device layers, edge layer, cloud layers. We as an industry are so heavy at the device layer, device operations level. Yes, we do have edge layer, edge processing, and there's more and more cloud, but generally speaking, the rest of the world is cloud first. And the reason that's important is so much magic can happen in the cloud. For example, digital twins. There are digital twins that are being built of massive factories, of cities. NVIDIA is actually building a digital twin of the entire planet to solve serious problems in climate. So if anyone tells me that we cannot build a digital twin of our AV systems, I don't believe you. I just don't believe you. Okay? And so, but why would we want to do this? Because we can solve so many problems when we engineer things correctly. I showed a quote from the CEO of Google, so let me just use Google as an example. You can use your favorite large enterprise. So let's just think, if Google wants to deploy 2,000 conference rooms in 3 months, it should not be a technology problem. It should not. Okay? Now, it's probably a supply chain problem to get all of those devices into the field. It's a Google problem in terms of setting some standards and clear expectations on the user experience. It should be a channel problem to get it all together, but there's a lot of people in this room that would love to have that problem. But it should not be a technology problem because the technology is available. There's a lot of engineering that we need to do, but the technology is available. All those devices should go in. The digital twin has modeled your AV system. We can provision, we can update firmware, we can just flick go. Okay? So, but to do that, we need our AV systems in a single platform and build an ecosystem around it because you need everything connected in a smart platform. And once you have this, that's really when you can enable data and AI. Again, there's plenty of AI that's actually in an edge processor, but I'm talking about this grand vision in terms of what we need to do. Okay? So what I'm really talking about is a full stack AV platform. And it has 3 pieces. Multimodal I/O that connects the platform to the physical world. Multimodal in terms of audio, video, text, voice, control signals, data. An intelligent data pipeline that transports securely and efficiently and transports and routes intelligently to either other devices, other platforms, or to the cloud. and then a cognitive cloud that leverages the best of machine learning and AI to deliver insights, outcomes, and experience. Right? So what we're really talking about here is, in the AV industry, a real-time platform that integrates device operations, edge processing, cloud compute, data AI into a unified and extensible way. Real-time and synchronous across devices, unified across applications and experiences, extensible to other platforms. Once we have this, then we can enable all sorts of magical AI in our industry to serve our clients and just bring human connection and joy and elevate experience together. So let me go through a few things, okay? I'm just gonna go through 6 areas in our industry where we should expect to see AI. I'm gonna go through them in sequential order, but the list is not complete, and it's really the combination of these 6 where the magic really happens. Let's go through this pretty quickly. Audio AI. You're going to have audio AI in terms of quality, right? So noise reduction, blind source separation, studio microphone, speaker focus. And then it's also in context and awareness, event detection, etc. Right? There's so much information. If you actually close your eyes, you could actually kind of get a good sense of a lot of information. Okay? So audio AI, we're going to see a ton of it. Video AI, quality in the experience. So there's certainly a number of solutions today in terms of auto switching, auto cropping, auto tracking, right? And then the quality itself, you're going to get into, again, noise reduction, anomaly, artifact reduction, video studio relighting, and then the context awareness of video is really, really important also, right? So scene analysis, gesture analysis, etc. Okay? Because eyes and ears. Control AI. So certainly Gen AI in terms of control, but so I was a controls engineer, and so if you're a controls engineer, you actually see the whole world in terms of input, transfer function, and output, and sometimes you close the loop. Okay? So let me just illustrate this by an example. I was at UCLA a few months ago. I serve on an advisory board at UCLA Engineering, and we spent the day there. In the morning, the projector screen was amazing, and then in the afternoon, the sun was just beaming in, and no one could see anything. So the professor's trying to figure out how to lower the shades. I'm sure it's there somewhere, right? I'm sure it's there somewhere, either a physical controller or within a menu somewhere, but no one knew how to do it. Okay? And I'm sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, there are cameras everywhere. They should know that the sun is beaming in and no one can see the screen. There are microphones everywhere in this room. It should understand that everyone is saying, does someone know how to lower the shades? It should just do it, right? That's the intelligence. And I want to make it's different than automation. Okay? Automation is a deterministic thing that someone programmed. Maybe there was automation there, but the trigger was way too high. So intelligence gives you human intent. And that is not just automation. That's why a lot of us don't like the automation, because it's never programmed the way we intended, or the way different users would intend. Let's move on. Data AI. You're going to see tons here. Predictive analytics, self-healing systems, and then data AI. The thing with data is there's so much data in the enterprises today. Even if an enterprise had 1,000 people going through the data, which they don't, human beings still won't be able to pick out things that an AI can. So an AI will sort of pick out the things, but do it at much larger scale. And this is going to, I mean, we as an industry, we've talked about managed services for a long, long time. To me, this is a real enabler for managed services. Workflow AI. So let me try this one on for size. Does this sound familiar? We cannot deliver a consistent and quality experience through design and commissioning and managing and monitoring to the user experience. I mean, that has been a problem for our industry in my entire time here. But now you're going to get Gen AI in the design, because remember, it's in the digital twin. And then, and so this actually reminds me of a great Satya Nadella quote. AI will both lower the floor and raise the ceiling, meaning we're going to be able to design much more consistent user experiences because we're going to be able to leverage the tools. And raise the ceiling means we're going to do exceptional things with it. Generative AI. We've talked about generative in coding, and then generative in terms of digital signage. I think this is another catalyst to really cross the chasm in the digital signage industry, right? I think there's going to be amazing things here. So essentially, let me just show you, when you have this full stack AV and you can use all this, we're just speaking to and interacting with computers. And I say interacting because remember, all the cameras are there. You can interact with them. So I'm just going to show you one clip, of a conference room in the future.
Okay, let's see something here. Hey, Quincy, could you show me last quarter's quotas versus
So the left screen is happening in the background.
Generating quote report.
Hey, Quincy, can you summarize Rusty's last talking points and put them on this screen? Okay, so Miles, I need you to work on a better pricing model. Tracy and Julie, we need some persona work. And Laura, we need some new social media ideas.
Oh, way ahead of you. Hey, Quincy, bring up my Eraser 2.0 ad for my cloud drive.
Hey, Quincy, can you send out those action items and schedule a meeting for next week?
Your action items and meeting invites have been sent.
All right. Hey, great work, everyone. We'll see you next week.
That's relatively simple. I actually showed that at the InfoComm last year, but I just wanted, I mean, that's where we're moving. Just speaking and interacting, there's, you know, the AI is you're going to be interacting with it very, very naturally. So, you know, this mental exercise that we just went through when we design things properly, you can do this in any of the verticals in our industry. In higher education, interactive and collaborative learning across geographies. In sports bar, really building a sense of local community. In hotels, great area for personalized experiences. Theme parks, shared immersive experiences. Okay? So we can do this in any of the verticals that we're in. And then, you know, so the question is, what will you do across this? So I'm going to bring it back to little Ellie. We're going to do one more vertical. We're going to talk about live entertainment because it's just so darn fun. It's really why I joined the industry. These are Ellie's Taylor Swift guitars. That's actually Taylor Swift's signature. When Taylor Swift was 16, before Ellie was born. So guess who's the original T Swift fan, right? This guy. Okay? And so, this is Elise, the very first time she saw Taylor Swift. This was the 2018 Reputation Tour, not the current Eras Tour. That expression, you cannot, that's priceless, and only AV can create that. The first time, the light, the sound, the video with a mega pop star, that is priceless. And those are the emotions that we invoke in our industry. That's really powerful. Okay? So I'm going to show you, so of course I told you that, you know, the three boys are trying to keep their jobs. So I bought tickets for my wife and my little girl, and we went to see the Taylor Swift concert, the Eras Tour, last year. And then I go back to work, and I get a text from my wife that says, Ellie and I are going back tonight. So they happened just to get like really, really great seats. So this is from their concert, just for fun. So she's actually pointing at little Ellie. Okay, so this footage was from a fan a few feet down because my wife is way too excited with her camera. Okay, but it was an incredible moment. So if you go to a Taylor Swift concert, it's just a magical, magical, magical experience, an amazing experience in human connection. Right? There's so much joy, there's so much happiness. You know, it's just everyone is coming together. Fathers are like superheroes to their daughters. And people are having the time of their lives. That's part of the magic that what we can deliver as an industry. I just love this industry. I absolutely just love this industry. Okay, I'm slowly going to wind this keynote up. AV is taking center stage. The world needs our technologies for human connection. We have the richest data set of video in the world. That is extremely valuable to our systems, to UC systems, to smart building systems, to smart cities. Okay. And the question is, what role will you play? How will you reinvent yourself or your company? How will you reimagine the possibilities? How will you invoke positive change in the world? So I've talked about change, and so I'm going to bring up one last tweet. Change is the only constant in life. That's profound, but it's so profoundly wrong, right? Because if there's one thing that I've tried to impress on you, change is not a constant. Change is an exponential. Right, here's an exponential function. E is Euler's constant, the most beautiful constant in the world. It's either that or pi. I don't know, I'm torn between the two. That's why e to the I pi plus 1 is equals 0 is the beautiful. Okay, I gotta stop. So none of that. Okay, so change. So how you read this is change is greater than 0 than for all time. That means we always have change. And if you take a derivative, this is a beautiful function, the derivative, which is the increase in change, the velocity is greater than 0 for all time. That means change is always increasing. And if you take a second derivative, I love it. We all can do calculus. It's the same function. It's greater than 0 for all time. So it's not only increasing, it's accelerating. Okay? And do you want to know what's not exponential? Human beings, our organizations, how we adapt. I'm just going to share a quick story. Quick story. Hundreds and hundreds of years ago, there was a king who was taught chess by his servant. And the king's getting a bit confident and says, let's play chess for a wager. What would you like? And the servant says, well, king, if I win, I just want 1 grain of rice on the first square, 2 grains of rice on the second square, 4 grains on the third, 8 grains on the fourth, etc. Exponential. So the king says, that's it. Let's play. So you kind of know where the story is going. The king lost and had to pay the debt. And you might even know there's no way all of those grains of rice could get on the chessboard. But if you take those grains of rice and you just put them end to end linearly, how far do you think that goes? I've done this talk a number of times. I've heard everything from 10 miles to LA to New York. I've heard some crazy stuff around the world, right? We're just talking about rice. So I'll just give you the answer. It goes from here to Pluto and back. And I reference Pluto because when I was in school, Pluto was a planet. Okay? I still think Pluto's a planet. Yes. Oh, we got a lot of Pluto fans. It goes to Pluto and back 8,799 times. Our brain is so mismatched from the exponential. There's a beautiful quote, the biggest shortfall of human beings is our inability to understand the exponential, okay? But that is opportunity. The mismatch is the opportunity. So when there is a time of change, there's opportunity. But in a time of exponential change, there is exponential opportunity. And then if you throw on top of it the AV industry, it is absolutely massive opportunity for our industry. Okay? So we started looking back 1 million years of technology and innovation. Let me just wrap up by looking at the next 10 years of technology and innovation. Okay? You do not want to miss the next 10 years. You do not. We're going to say autonomous vehicles. Well, that's here already. Education. Every kid and human being will have access to the best tutor, teacher, professor. Healthcare. Everyone will have access to great and affordable healthcare. Genomics and drug discovery. Instead of discovering drugs and cures, we engineer drugs and cures. Agriculture, solving serious problems in climate, humanoid robots, smart cities, quantum computing, artificial general intelligence, nuclear fusion, multi-planetary life. Okay, maybe that last one is not in the next 10 years. Okay. I don't want to freak anybody out. Yeah, but I had to throw it in. Okay? This has been an amazing time. You have been an amazing crowd. You know, I started this talk talking about the revolutions in history, but with our collective ingenuity and the power of AI, we as an industry can ignite a revolution in human connection. We are builders, and the world is waiting. So let's build. Thank you so much. Thank you. You've been a wonderful crowd. I wish you have a great, great show.
Welcome to InfoComm. We're sight and sound amazed.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
The greatest show on earth as the buzz begins to grow, and we'll keep on going.
Wait. Hold on.
Hold on. Bright lights, dazzling sights, innovation all around. Connections made, ideas shared in this.
Thank you so much.
Playground.
Have a great InfoComm.
A spectacle so grand in this vibrant city.